But that's pretty much the gist of that episode. Now, speaking of simulations in other worlds,
so many simulations.
Everything's a fucking every sci-fi is a simulation nowadays, and honestly, like, I'm not getting bored of it. I love it. I love all the different takes.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're doing it differently.
This next one might be one of my favorite takes I've seen on it so far, and that is Amazon Prime's newest original, Upload.
Yes.
Which we talked about last week in our episode where we covered, upcoming shows. We touched on it a little bit. We fucking binged it in one straight sitting on Sunday. And I know a lot of people that did too. Oh
my God. Yeah, I know several people that did. I mentioned last week that I had watched the trailer for this and I got some. Okay, spoiler alert. We are now. We just spoiled Rick and Morty 2 and we didn't warn. But yeah, that's okay. This is extreme spoilers. We are talking about the entire season of Upload. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it right now because it's fucking amazing.
Hilarious.
And then come back and listen.
Now, I want to get my expectation out of the way. I didn't watch the preview.
Right.
I'm just like any listener on this podcast. When you were explaining it, that was the first of my knowledge of it.
Yeah.
The way it was described, a satire being put in a show, did not excite me because satires are so hit and miss in movies. But this one knocked it out of the fucking park.
Yeah. And so, we can get into the mystery of it. It turns into a murder mystery, which I think they wanted to keep.
Well, it's a little bit of everything. You have a murder mystery, you have comedy, and then you have a romance too.
Yes. And I think they wanted to keep the murder mystery kind of a secret, kind of like a little twist.
I still don't get it. We can get into it.
Because they don't, on IMDb, literally the description is a man is able to choose his own afterlife after his untimely death. I mean,
there's nothing on there.
Nothing. The commercial, nothing. And unfortunately, I said last week that I got some kind of cheesy vibes from it.
Yeah,
but
I did too.
The only reason I watched this is because it's Greg Daniels.
Yes.
And I trust him, and I figured it was going to be good, and it was. I mean, I think it exceeded my expectations.
For sure. So let's talk a little bit. Obviously, we're not going to dive into each episode. We're trying to keep this like under a half hour. But we'll talk about the main plot points and what we thought. So, story begins. Nathan, the protagonist of the story, played by Robbie Amell, dies in an obscure automated car crash. The year is 2033, and these vehicles are not supposed to crash. It's even a joke later with Luke. He's like, "Oh wait, you're fucking serious? Like, you died in a car crash?" But then he's persuaded by his obsessive and spoiled girlfriend Ingrid to upload his conscious to Lakeview, which is the most premium afterlife service. And since Ingrid is the one paying the bills for his virtual afterlife, she basically controls him. When Nathan first arrives at Lakeview, he struggles with the idea of living in eternity with no purpose. He was a very young, 27.
Yeah,
our age.
So, yeah.
Only another week or two for you. I had to rub that in there. There's no real goals to work towards in this afterlife. He knows he was working on a big startup project with his best friend before he died, but his memories have been tainted with, and some of them have been erased, which is even more obscure than the car crash itself.
Yeah.
Now, from the viewer's lens, we knew the whole time that his startup was basically going to be a free and openly customizable afterlife called Beyond, where you didn't have to pay for these microtransactions and could alter the world you chose as your eternity. A heavy theme, and where they like pluck a lot of the comedy from, is this like corporatized future.
Yeah.
And it even goes the distance to extending that to eternity, right? So big fucking corporations are the ones that own their different versions of virtual afterlife. The names were hilarious, like Horizon, you're supposed to know is Verizon. I think you're supposed to be thinking the whole time.
That's definitely what I was thinking.
That's the one that owns Lakeview, where he is. There's names like Google, Samsung, Panera, Facebook, Net Geo, Instagram, Nokia, Taco Bell, AT&T, and T. it was hilarious. Like
there was also, I didn't even notice this, but something I was reading. There's a Bloomingdale's bodega in New York.
I didn't even notice that.
They fell pretty low.
It was overboard, and I loved it. And I also found it funny, like as a gamer especially. I thought it was hilarious when they like all the microtransactions inside Lakeview. Like you had to pay for everything: a coffee, a bag of chips. They needed to have an update so like they could have their taste buds, like all of them, like before they could only taste salt and sweet and salty.
They had no sour taste buds.
Yeah. I thought it goes back to the Rick and Morty jokes of consumerism.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like the whole capitalism, and they're literally still taking advantage of you after you're dead.
Yeah. Literally. Which is funny to me because I'm like, it's not eternity. It's until you've run whoever's bank account dry.
Yeah. And then we find out that if you can't afford it anymore, you get put in a basement.
Well, at Lakeview. That's the or Horizon's version. You get put in this 2 gig basement where you only have 2 gigs of data per month.
Which is anybody would know is like nothing.
And then you freeze until you put more money in, basically.
Yeah.
But the ad placement, like, if you would have told me about it before, I would have been like, that's annoying as fuck. But every single time an ad dropped or one of the characters name dropped a product or a company, it was so funny to me.
Well, it was funny too because like these companies have combined, you know, like you said, Panera Facebook, and Panera Facebook is the one that was trying to do a download.
Yeah.
So they're trying to download a person from, you know, this simulation world back into a real body. It did not go very well.
Wrong. Dude from The Office's face got blown off.
Yes, I was like, oh my God, it's Creed.
It's Creed. Starts licking his fingers and everything. Like that's the first thing you would do if you were put back into your body.
Yeah, like you would lick your fingers. Yeah.
But like, it really speaks to like the abundance of ads thrown in your face in this era with Instagram, Facebook, Google. I mean, you can't even go on a fucking website without having 100 ads covering it. You can't even read the source material sometimes because there's so many ads on it.
Well, I thought it was interesting, kind of, you know, similar that when the people in the simulation, you know, the uploads, they're called uploads, they put on like a privacy mode, but then the people working at Horizon could view privacy mode.
Yeah.
So they literally had no privacy.
No privacy at all. That was funny seeing with Luke just dancing in the bathroom. But yeah, so after he becomes accommodated there, you know, Nathan befriends the deceased veteran Luke, the side character, who hilarious wingman.
Awesome.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Guy killed it. And that's one of the things I want to talk about too, though, is the cast
is great.
They're not really big and they don't have this huge following other than Robbie Amell.
Yeah, Robbie, and I think his cousin is Stephen Amell from Arrow?
All I know is if Tom Cruise and Taylor Lautner had a baby, it would be Robbie Amell. He looks like their child.
He really does.
He really does. It's crazy. There has to be a relation somewhere.
But his cousin is Stephen Amell from Arrow.
Oh, okay. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the actors and actresses. I feel like they're gonna explode after this show. Some of them.
Yeah.
Alicia's character. Let me get their names up so I can give them some credit. Yeah, Andy Allo plays Nora Anthony, who's Nathan's angel. I hope I'm saying this right. Don't mess with me. Zainab Johnson, who's Alicia. She actually also has her own podcast too. I want to check that out because she was hilarious.
Yeah,
Kevin Bigley plays Luke. I looked him up on Twitter. He actually liked one of our tweets.
Hell yeah.
He is an author too. He wrote a book. Allegra Edwards, Ingrid. I don't know if she's in anything else.
She was great.
One of my favorite side characters was the AI guy who is played by Owen Daniels.
And I think it's funny to point out that he's a redhead, and it's like typically said that redheads have no soul.
Yeah, I know. They make the joke of that too.
Do they?
Yeah. Nora's father comes when Nora's father, who is Nathan's angel, right?
Nora is Nathan's angel.
Nora's Nathan's angel. Nora's real life father doesn't want to be uploaded because he thinks he's old school. I want to go to heaven with my wife because that's where she is. And so he goes on a test tour. Mm-hmm. He's like, these people have no soul. And then when the AI guy runs around, he goes, he definitely has no soul. And then Nathan's like, yep.
I didn't put it together that it was because he had red hair. I just thought it's because he's an AI. At the time, I did not put that together. That's hilarious.
I mean, half my family has red hair. I guess they have no soul. Andrea Rosen plays Lucy, the boss at Horizon. I thought she was funny too. Another great side character.
Yeah.
So, like, big kudos to
Wait, did you mention the cousin?
Cousin? Oh, the little girl?
That's his niece. The cousin, the private investigator who's actually a gym teacher.
God, Elizabeth
Fran Booth,
which is Elizabeth Bowen. Hilarious.
She was hilarious, and I'm so sad her car also malfunctioned. Well,
yeah, I wanted her to stick around,
and she went off the pier.
She was getting down to the where is it, nitty gritty.
Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
She was.
She was great. I mean, you know who she reminded me of?
Ew.
She was body moving from Don't Fuck with Cats. An internet troll that is better than any private investigator in the real world.
She was.
Right?
Yeah,
total
she was.
body moving vibes.
Yep.
Anyway, I just want to give credit to those cast members, and I feel like they're going to blow up and get good Hollywood roles or other show roles from this.
It was a great ensemble cast.
They were on point. Like, usually when you hear these no names, it's kind of like suspect. I thought every single person in the show was phenomenal.
Wait, did you mention the little boy?
Oh,
he
Dylan,
was great too.
Yeah, he was hilarious.
Yeah, see, such a good cast.
What did he say? He's like, oh, if I was 18, I'd tear that ass up. He's an 11-year-old boy. He died when he was 11, and his parents refused to upgrade his avatar because they want to remember him, how they lost him.
Yeah.
And he gets pissed because his younger brother is now at prom smashing away, and he's like, this is bullshit.
And they go to the dark web, and he gets a tattoo that's supposed to make him mature. But the hormones are for a woman.
That was so funny.
So he starts just walking around.
Ding dong, it's XX on your arm, not XY.
and Nathan's like, I thought it was like extra manly.
Yeah. He was walking around with some titties for a little bit. Luke was upset that he couldn't get to see them.
He didn't get to see them.
I thought it was hilarious. The way Dylan died was by jumping off the Grand Canyon and hitting an infamous dab.
Well, I don't think he jumped. I think he fell.
I thought he jumped on purpose.
Did he?
Didn't he say, like, they should tell people that you can't jump off of it? He was doing it for the vine. He went and dabbed down for the legs.
That is true. I know. I thought it was an accident, but he did say that.
Those are two of the many that Nathan meets at Lakeview, but obviously the most important one is actually not at Lakeview. It's a living woman, Nora, who is his angel, which is what they call their customer service reps. And that's the love. They fall in love between the two of them. And
very much her vibes.
Very much her vibes in a more realistic way. Nathan is a substance in a way.
Right, like she had something to look at, and like he was a real person.
Right, like she could go into the world and interact with him, touch him.
True, yes.
They could make out and do finger stuff, whatever. She had a nice glove. Whatever. So from the jump, Nora kind of knew something was fishy because she noticed his memories were scrambled, and through curiosity, but also part of her job, I guess, she was trying to repair them.
Yeah.
But they also get deleted from her computer from an unknown login ID.
She had backups.
She had backups, smart on her Ring drive. But they both eventually suspect that Nathan was murdered, which we all should have at this point. When Nathan does get his memories back, we find out that Nathan is a dick in real life and actually screwed over his best friend.
I think saying he's a dick is very harsh. I think.
Isn't that what he called himself?
Yes, it is. But I am sympathetic to him because he said multiple times how his family was struggling financially.
Yeah.
He was trying to help his mom. He said she could barely afford her 1-bedroom apartment. And him and his business partner / friend were disagreeing on what to do with his company.
Right.
And yeah, it was a dick move, but I think I'm sympathetic.
Right, so he's not a dick. He pulled a dick move.
Yeah, there you go.
By screwing over his best friend and taking a bribe and selling the code that Nathan himself created for their company to Ingrid's father, who is some sort of tech giant businessman.
Now, I have a question.
This is probably the same question I have.
Did the sale go through? Did it actually happen? Like, he made the agreement, but did Ingrid's father's company actually get the code information and get the information they wanted?
I'm assuming they got the code whether through him or whether through Jamie later because they have that Freon company.
I know, but Jamie's still working
on Beyond. My question is, I don't understand the logistics behind Nathan's murder.
I don't
Because
either.
if he was about to give the code to Ingrid's father, was it another tech giant that had him killed so he didn't give it to him?
Yeah,
Like a competitor?
I think it's something with Horizon.
Ah.
Yeah, because Horizon's the big daddy.
Yeah, they have the most premium afterlife.
They have pretty
a
much
billion floors in their hotel.
Yeah, everything you want. They're charging everyone a shitload of money. They're making tons of money. I think whoever killed Nathan, I think was from Horizon, because Horizon is pretty much the only company that stands to lose something if his code actually becomes a company. But we saw the Freon is kind of what Nathan's plan was. So is this made from his code? Is this the company that Ingrid's dad has created through Nathan's code? Like,
yeah, that's what wasn't clear to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, season 2 is inevitable and going to answer those questions.
right.
But I like how they drew out that mystery throughout the whole thing.
I like it a lot.
And it's still left off this cliffhanger.
Yes.
Like, Nora kind of breaks up with him because she sees what he did to screw over his best friend.
Kind of and kind of not.
Well, in the beginning, she broke up with him.
Yes.
And when Nathan downgrades himself to the 2 gigs, he uses up his 2 gig data to save her life from that horrible assassin. The dude's just terrible at his job. And he just looks like a total creep.
He did look like a creep.
But he gets fucked up in the elevator. Like, this show's dark. Like, it seems a little gimmicky, but it's
Dark comedy, yeah.
comedy. Like, people are still getting their heads blown off to get uploaded. It's fucking ridiculous.
That scene cracked me up, though, and him just falling into the tub of ice
Yeah.
with no head. And his mom and girlfriend were watching.
Yeah. Insane. So then she kind of comes back to him, like, that she wants to be with him. They realize that he uses
Yeah.
up his last bit of gigs to hear her say "I love you." And
Yeah,
he
too
can't
much emotion.
Too much emotion. He can't respond because he's frozen now. So Nora is fleeing for safety with her little Tinder boy toy, who I can't stand.
Byron.
Can't stand that dude. And the worst thing that could possibly happen that we're left with is fucking Ingrid uploads herself to be with Nathan forever. So she basically committed suicide.
Yeah.
This is like the clingiest girlfriend of all time. Invites herself over to Thanksgiving, has you killed so you can be uploaded. So
She didn't have him killed.
Didn't have him killed, but she had him uploaded because they did say his vitals were going back up.
Yes.
But she wanted him uploaded so that she could own him forever.
Yeah.
Because she knew she would pay the bill.
Yeah.
And now he breaks up with her. She commits suicide.
And now
Talk about fucking crazy eyes. Another thing I thought was hilarious in the show, last thing, and then we can get into our final thoughts about it, is the ad placement was funny, the corporatization was funny, but her taking care of her body was hilarious. This goes out to all you Instagram models thinking that shit is attractive sometimes, just blowing yourself up. Like, she was putting the bees she put over, like, oh, it's time.
Oh, they're angry today.
It's time for your bees. Like, just puts bees over her mouth. Like,
And
the shoulder
the
blades?
sharpened
She
shoulder
sharpened
blades
her shoulder blades.
were hilarious. And did she cut the pillow?
Like, do people actually do that?
No.
Oh my
That's not a
God.
real thing. You could never do that, I don't think.
People
But
shave, like, I'm sure people like
I mean, I
shave
guess
down their bones
yeah, I guess you
to
could.
make their shoulders look more
I think
pristine and stuff.
it was definitely making fun of the people who go above and beyond to do like ridiculous things to their body to try to stay looking young
Yeah,
or looking as good at like better than what they really look like.
right.
But yeah, the sharpened shoulder blade. She's like, oh, they might have got too sharp, and then it
She
like cuts the pillow
pillow.
during the interview, and she goes, "That was a fart."
Yeah.
Like a fart is better than your sharpened shoulder
Yeah,
blade.
right. She could fucking cut diamonds with her shoulder blades. That was insane. Yeah, I thought that was just hilarious too.
Yeah.
Because just from a male point of view, like, you're doing too much to some of these women.
Yeah, definitely. But it's the world we live in. They
Yep.
feel like they have to.
Yep.
It's sad. But I loved that they kind of took us on a few twists and turns. Like there was times where when you thought Ingrid might have killed him
Yes.
or not.
Well, that's what I was
she
thinking the
might
whole
have.
time. Because she was
Yeah.
psycho.
Yeah, and Fran saw the footage of Ingrid going back into Nathan's car right before it crashed. but she said she was changing it from.
She was actually trying to help him.
She was actually trying to help him
because she knew that's what confused me. She knew her father's corporation was trying to kill him, right? Or that was just totally isolated. Like
we don't.
She went
supposedly she does know more than what she has said, but we don't really know what she knows. She knows that like he was in danger, and that there were some dangerous, for lack of a better word, people after him. But like, remember he questioned her at the Christmas party, and she like ran away. She like didn't answer his question.
Yeah,
so like,
she knows
was it
something.
his father? Was it his company? Was it somebody else?
That's what's so
I feel like we don't really have those answers.
It's good not to have, because if we had those answers, where were we gonna go? You know?
Yeah, and Greg Daniels said when he pitched this show, he had 2 seasons worth of content. So he said he for sure like always wanted to go to season 2. Obviously, like characters bring certain aspects to the show that he could have never expected, and so certain things might have to get changed a little bit. But he does have plans for season 2 already, which is obvious, like you could tell.
Oh yeah. See that's back to my point last week too, of like miniseries sometimes not knowing if they're gonna go again. Like The Outsider, bogus post-credit cliffhanger. Like the fuck is the point? Like, do you have source material or not? Because it looks like you wrapped up your story.
Right.
That's good to know that he already has 2 seasons.
Yes.
And knowing him, because he's a fucking genius, he probably set it up so that during this lag time he can extend it, because it's getting such good reviews and feedback.
Yeah.
I'm recommending it to all my friends and family. Like,
oh, my mom and stepdad have already binged it. 2 of my friends have already binged it. Like everybody's watching it like the first weekend. I think it
is disturbingly funny. Like,
yeah. Apparently Greg Daniels though has been working with this idea. He got this idea and started making notes on it since 1980. Well, late 1980s.
Of just a virtual afterlife.
Yeah.
Right.
And it wasn't until The Office ended in 2014 that a year after The Office ended, he decided to write a pilot for it. So yeah, a year or 2 after The Office ended, he decided to actually write the pilot and try to get this off the ground. And it's the whole vape lung thing, which, you know, Nora's dad
didn't even mention that, has
vape lung, which I thought was a great addition to add in there.
Yeah, I thought it was funny, and I hope it wakes up a lot of people, especially people that I'm familiar with, younger people. Like they think that they're safe because they're vaping, and I've heard horror stories.
Yeah,
of kids with scarring in their lungs at 19.
Well, and apparently this was kind of just a joke to begin with, because he said they filmed this in January of 2018.
Wow.
And so when they filmed this,
well, that's when it was like everyone was running around with vape, bro.
Yeah, everyone was saying like, oh, it's not as bad as smoking. It can be not healthy, but like it's healthier.
And it tastes good, bro.
And Greg Daniels was like, no, there's no way this is okay. And so that's why he wrote that in. And then now look.
Yep.
Yeah. Now all the stuff has come out. It does. But, you know, speaking of this show as a whole and just like the concept of the virtual afterlife, I wanted to touch on a little bit. And I think it's fascinating to think about, because as I'm watching it, Nora's dad kind of explains it well, that, you know, the Nathan that lived on Earth isn't in a simulation now. Like, they took his brain and his memories and made a simulation of Nathan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And still, like, we'll never know what happens when people die. Like, it's like a forever mystery. Like, nobody will ever know those answers. And so I think it's cool to think about, you know, if you believe in the afterlife, which I do, Nathan's soul could be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he could be in this simulation, but his actual soul could be somewhere else, which is why Nora's dad was saying you're soulless.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's really just a computer simulation, and he has all of Nathan's previous memories, and so that's why he's acting like Nathan. He remembers everything.
Speaks to why the download thing doesn't work either. Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, for sure.
You just...
And, you know, Nora's dad, I guess, because we don't know what happens when you die, he doesn't want to risk it. Right? He's like, what if you
Honestly,
upload and you actually don't get to go to the real
So here's the
afterlife?
question. Would you upload?
That is the question.
I would not.
I don't think I would either.
Hell no.
No.
Why? I would feel I mean, maybe it's just my age, like would feel the same as Nathan. What's the point of living with no purpose?
Yeah.
Like anybody who knows me knows to begin with that I can't sit still for 2 seconds. I'm a workaholic, I guess. I'm just working every living moment I'm awake, but like that's what keeps me going. I can't sit around and do nothing. That's basically what that afterlife is.
Yeah.
Like, to just sit back and paint and
Not even really paint.
like play Monopoly. Like this sounds fucking miserable. Just put me under.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And to be controlled by someone,
Well,
forcing my family to pay bills for me. I can't believe it's like that popular.
Well, and when you think about it too, it's, I think, a very, not toxic, I guess kind of toxic way to deal with death, because uploading is almost more, I think, for your loved ones. Because they can keep
For sure.
talking to you. They can keep seeing you.
Yeah.
They can still have sex with you.
That scene was hilarious.
That scene was so funny.
Yeah, so funny. Just cutting to her and her Teletubby
I
shoot.
absolutely loved when it would show people that had like the VR goggles on and it would show them in the real world.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious.
The only dude enjoying himself was the politician.
Oh, yeah.
I'm blanking on his name. Boat, something like that.
Yeah, I'm looking on his name too. But yeah, because he lived in like this like massive mansion estate on like 15 acres or whatever he said. So yeah, it's not a healthy way to deal with death for anyone. And like we said,
financially or mentally.
Yeah, and like we said, this isn't even like the real person. You know, the real Nathan could be off in an afterlife living somewhere else watching his family like, oh my God, you idiots.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Paying these bills for no reason.
Yeah.
So it's a fantastic concept.
3 generations of unlimited data. That's what he kept saying.
Exactly. So that's why, like, Greg Daniels, you're a fucking genius. After all this time, everyone's trying to do their version of a simulation, and yours is still the most unique and
I know.
one of the best I've seen.
Well, I want to point out that I just think it's so awesome that these comedies like Upload and The Good Place are able to stay lighthearted, but explore like really deep subject matter, like the afterlife and ethics and all of that kind of stuff. I think is just really amazing writing. Like
Yeah.
the fact that they can do that and it can be understandable to us peasants. I just think it's really awesome, and it's exciting that shows like this are getting made.
Right. Can't wait for season 2. I need it now. It's the part that sucks about binging something in one sitting. It's phenomenal, but I gotta fucking wait.
Yeah, we literally watched it like a movie.
Yep.
It was a movie.
It was a movie.
Yeah.
Only 30, 40, 35 minutes on average probably.
Probably, yeah.
Per episode, so it's quick. It wasn't 10 hours.
Yeah.
But if it was, we would have done it anyway.
Yep. We were planning on it. We didn't realize they were only 30 minutes
Yeah,
when we
I
turned
didn't
it
realize
on.
it either. I thought they were an hour. But they didn't feel like a half an hour. Like, I don't know. They just didn't. Maybe it's because it was one sitting.
Yeah,
I didn't
we were
notice
just
when I
like-
hit next, but the episodes didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
So, highly recommend. We loved it. So far, everyone we've talked to loved it.
Mm-hmm.
You like sci-fi, you like satire. I mean, what's there not to like? It's a good romance comedy in it. There's
Yeah.
a good mystery, fucking dark,
Who doesn't love a good murder mystery?
you know. So, plenty for everyone to enjoy. Besides kids, I don't think you can watch that.
Yeah, there's a few exploding heads.
Yeah.
Probably not good for kids.
No.
And the hug suit, which is actually the sex suit.
The section, probably just the
It's
whole
like, when's the last time an adult actually called it a hug suit?
The
She was
whole
like the
idea-
commercial.
of Knightley is probably not sending a good message either.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. That's like disturbing for what the future could be for dating. And you get rated